In today's video, I will break down exactly on how I was able to scale one of my clients to $0 all the way up to $1 million per month run rate within 2 months. I'll break down exactly the resources that we've used, the dashboard, the CRM, the talent acquisition, the marketing funnel, the sales process that we've used. This is going to be an extremely raw video. There's not going to be any fancy edits, but I want to share to you guys as well, and ladies, the results and the dashboard behind the scene of this specific team. So as you guys can see, this is the dashboard. This is their sales reps inserting this on a day-to-day basis. Roughly shy under $1.3 million in cash collected, and roughly around shy under $1.5 million in revenue generated. For the naysayers as well, here's the dashboard for WAP. We've done 571K here from, again, I'm not sure if it was November 12 or like roughly around like the last week of November we started. So 571K. And then here's the dashboard as well for Stripe. I'm going to refresh it. Just you guys could see that this is actually the dashboard. There you go, 764K. And here's also the Close CRM that we're using tech stack wise on the volume that we put November 23rd all the way to Feb 11, right? It's a bit staggered. There's a lot of stuff that we ended up having to fix, revamp along the ways, and continuously improvising as we go on a month-to-month basis on this specific offer, right? But this is the work ethic and the inputs that we've also put, right? It's not an overnight thing. The team needs to be fully bought in. You need to have top talent to be able to do this type of numbers. And yeah, this is 2 months progression of the offer itself, right? Realistically, last month was our first full month, which is again, I'll show you guys previous month, filter this update is within the past month. So you guys can see, again, this month we're already at like roughly around 250 something. Last month we ended up finishing roughly 700K ish. So there you go. This is the results that we've gotten, right? So again, pacing $1 million per month, very, very solid offer. So let me just switch you guys on my camera here. There you go. First things first, I want to break down is the offer, right? Obviously, not all offer could get to $1 million per month, not just because, you could have the best sales team in the world, but if you don't have a sellable product or a service that's not attractive within the industry, or there's just not enough TAM, meaning total addressable market, then the offer itself can't sell. So that's number one. You need to have a broader TAM. And then another two is you need to have a more of a bit matured audience. If you guys were able to see my AOV, I'll just show you guys, actually, let me switch it back again here. My AOV within this month, if we were to it's almost 6.4K AOV for this specific offer, right? So that just shows that the people that we have actually have money to invest, right? So it's a ROI offer. That's the main offer. It's an Airbnb offer specifically. Real estate. So it's already a given that there is going to be an investment involved when investing into properties and things of that nature, right? So that's number one. It's just the offer itself. You can get to millions per month with a younger audience, don't get me wrong, but the approach that we're doing will vary. That's why I don't have like a clear-cut structure of how to scale a biz up, because it could depend on the ICP, right? The ideal client profile. And then at the same time as well, just the product itself. Are we targeting more the upper, higher middle class? Or higher income households, or is it lower income households? All of these things play into part. And what type of funnel are we using in terms of getting these leads in front of our faces, right? For this specific offer, the way it's going right now is we're going straight up 100% cold traffic. Then we're transitioning them into webinar funnel, right? Then after webinar funnel, then there's an application form that then they go ahead and fill up to see if they're qualified or unqualified. And if they're qualified within our criteria of someone that could acquire or purchase the service, then that's where we give them the option to book a call within one of our closers or our senior advisors, right? Then after that, one of our sales reps then triage them to make sure that that form is accurate, right? Then pretty much that's a week-to-week basis. Then do your dials, your outbounds. We have a triage team, and we also have outbound team, and we segment the lead quality as well. So we make sure the top closers always get the best leads, You always want to make sure that you're getting the best distribution when you're talking about getting it to $1 million per month, right? Because eventually it's not going to be a lead volume problem. The main problem typically offers that's doing 100 grand per month, trying to scale to $1 million per month. It's not necessarily lead volume, right? It's more of conversions, right? For this specific offer, lead wasn't a problem. We had enough capital as well to launch. First launch, we ended up doing, like within the first week, we ended up doing 7 to 8 grand. And that 7 to 8 grand is what we've ended up using to launch ad campaigns to allow us to have a more evergreen type of funnel. Right. And our marketer too, shout out to Noah, my business partner, is extremely good at what he does. So he makes our life easier as well. That's another thing as well. You need to have a airtight feedback loop with the marketing team. Marketing and sales isn't two different entities. They're intertwined and they need to be communicating on a day-to-day basis, right? I tell my marketer, hey, this is what we've been seeing on the sales calls. We're getting a lot of cancer calls, or maybe we're getting a lot of these type of people career-wise, healthcare, industry, right? That's been kind of one of the most lucrative target audience that we've had, which is people are in healthcare. So in terms of size of the team, right now the structure is there's 8 sales reps, 8 closers. And in terms of SDRs wise, we are shy roughly around 12 SDRs, right? Ideally, you always want to actually have a 1-to-2 ratio from SDRs to closers. But since this specific offer, majority of our close deals are coming from triages. I didn't necessarily need to scale the outbound team, right? They're more of like supplementary as well. And then we're gonna eventually add a VSL funnel within this, so we're going to get a bit much more bigger as well within the next few weeks. We're planning to do that. So that's 2 main things, right? Marketing needs to be airtight. Offer itself needs to be airtight. And we gradually increased the price, right? Initially, we started at testing the waters at 5 grand, and then eventually tested it at 6 grand, and then 6.5 grand, and eventually got it to 7K, then 7.5K, and our close rate is still extremely high. And we're planning to bump that up to 8K, but ideally you want to have a good close rate within that 35% close rate on call to close. Right now, a lot of our closers are still closing at the 50% above our average closers close at 50%. So on call to close, that means not just including offers made, but everyone that you happen to call with, right? That's one of the main things is we have market fit. We know that, but we're still a bit underpriced when it comes with the pricing we have, right? Another thing as well is just faster feedback loops, right? So we didn't initially start with 8 closers. Actually, this ballooned up to all the way up to 10 closers. We trimmed it down a little bit. One thing that we started finding out is obviously the marketing needs to catch up with the sales team, or sales team sets the pacing of how much the ad spend will be, right? So I scaled it to the point where the entire team can handle a 2 million a month type of sales volume. Ideally, we would want to be at that based on our AOV, close rate, show rate, all that stuff. We'd want to be at roughly around 200 to 250 bookings per week to get or hit anywhere between $1 million to $1.5 million per month comfortably, right? Right now, there is some bottlenecks that we're working on the marketing side. So there's a lot of things that's moving when you're trying to scale this and offer to $1 million a month, right? So making sure that everything is pretty solid. And another thing I would say that played a part on scaling this type of team is culture, right? Top reps doesn't just join a team randomly. You need to have a knack for an eye to acquire talent, and they need to enjoy working wherever you are. And that's how you retain talent, right? You have to think about sales rep with KPIs, quotas as someone, okay, cool. If X person average 200K cash collect per month, that's times that by 12, that's how much they're bringing in for the business specifically, right? So for example, I'll pull up my calculator here, 200 grand, right, times 12, that's roughly around $2.5 million per year, that specific rep. So now, how do you actually incentivize them to stay, enjoy their life here and within the culture of the company? So you have to start kind of putting them in leadership roles. You have to incentivize them. And how do you increase productivity within each rep? So one of the things that you could do is implement bonus structures, right? A lot of offers, this is what I see them time and time make a mistake on, is they are so stingy on giving bonuses or incentivizing their team. And what happens in return is their top performers scout for other offers and they leave that offer itself, and they have this 2-month lull where they're trying to replace the type of productivity, and now they're playing catch up. So that's the last thing that you want to do when you're scaling a team. You need to be able to retain talent. And that's one thing that I honestly take pride on, is having a deep pipeline of sales reps, right? And just having good connection, good proper onboarding system. And just the onboarding for your talent timeline needs to be cut down, right? Having all that SOP documented, knowing clearly what they need to do, how to navigate the CRM, whatever CRM you guys are using, the who are we selling to, and having at least, product knowledge as well will help a lot. But I would focus more on knowing who we're selling to versus what the product we're selling to, right? A lot of offer owners feed their sales rep with a bunch of information about the offer itself, which is great. Like, you can find out about the business model itself, but you have to understand who you're selling to more, right? And if you learn more about the product itself, matter of fact, most of the time you overcomplicate what or how you're communicating it to the prospect, right? So you'll want to keep it high level. In terms of our tech stacks, right? So in terms of creeping tracks of everything, one of the things that I found out as well is just payouts, right? So having a tracking sheet dialed, right? So one of the things that I utilize is AI solutions. So I'm a very big proponent of using Claude myself. So being able to use some softwares like Airtable to track and keep every data in one storage, right? And on a week-to-week basis, I crank that out, I export it as a CSV file, slap it into Claude, kind of look at the bottlenecks there, and within that next week or a coming week, then I go relay it to the team and make sure that they're actually doing the adjustments that we're doing, implementing them, right? And just making sure that we're making the right decisions because sometimes there are a lot of things that can happen on a week-to-week basis, right? So like your reps might forget things that you're supposed to do on calls, the handoff process, right? The sales process itself, a lot of stuff like that. Just making sure that you're having a tight feedback loop with your team too. So initially within the first month, I had a daily sales team huddle with all my reps, right? And on top of that as well, I was doing some huddles, one-on-ones, all the good stuff, right? Then eventually we transitioned to 3 call a week, and then I made them required to at least meet within their own pods as well, because I broke them down into pods, and that's what ended up happening. Right. Those are some sweet things that we ended up and we were able to do with this specific offer itself. And there's other offers that I have. But if you're watching this, you're an offer owner and you want me to audit your entire sales process, more than happy to give you a help or shout. There's going to be information down below in this video as well to apply on potentially working together. So I'm more than happy to have a conversation with that. And again, right now I am currently working with 3 clients for context, and it's very difficult for me to divert my energy if the offer that I'm working with doesn't have a potential to go to $1 million per month, right? So making sure that if worst case scenario, I give you feedback on what needs to get tweaked on your sales process and you implement that and you're off to the races, right? So if you're interested to work and you're interested to get a free sales audit, more than happy to hop on a call as well. The details will be on the video below as well. But hopefully this is helpful. Hope you found some value into this video as well. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next slide.